I think I want to backtrack a little bit and talk about how I know when God is speaking to me to record what I'm thinking. So I was irritated, and because I was irritated and had like nobody to vent to or whatever, this feeling of sadness overcame me because I didn't have my people. Then I went inside and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna start recording. So I started recording and I didn't like how it was going. So, which happens a lot of the times with these videos because it just be like that. So I'm like, whatever. I cut it off, and I even said like right before I cut the video off, I'm like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I cut the video off at 3 minutes and 33 seconds. You know what? Okay. So I stopped. I prayed for him to bless me with the words, like to help me with the words to come out clearly and concisely in a way that people will understand. Because I felt like my thoughts were not only jumbled, but they were coming out like Bruce. Put my hat on. You having a bad hair day? Cover it. You know what I mean? Like, it just be like that sometimes. You just got to fix it and move on. I'm walking. You're riding your bike.
Run!
I'm not running. That's life. A bunch of distraction. So, yeah, I looked up 333. The creativity thing sprung out to me, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna wash my face, put my hat on, get outside, get moving, and stop distracting myself and focus on what God wants you to say. So I moved 2,000 miles away from everything. I don't know, like coming into that, I already knew that I was going to experience things that were going to be hard, that I had never experienced back home because I never needed to. There was no reason for me to struggle at home. But I knew in my gut, it was just this gut feeling. I knew that I had to go through some kind of struggle in order to get anywhere in life that I wanted to be. I had all these aspirations for myself. I wanted to travel. I wanted to do all these things, right? But I didn't see that happening by me having a scapegoat, and a scapegoat or a scapegoat. I don't know. One of those. That was not going to happen when I constantly had one of those for every issue that I faced in my life. So I knew that moving out here, it was going to be hard. I have no family here. And plane tickets are quite expensive. So while I had planned, like, oh, I'm going to go back home every couple months, blase. Like, that's harder than you could even imagine. Like, that's a lot of money. We're out here worrying about rent, car payments, everything else, childcare, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to come up with that money for 2 plane tickets home every couple months. So, I mean, I knew I was going to struggle. I knew that it was going to be not easy, but of course, not being in it in that moment, like through any struggle at that moment in time, I wasn't exactly sure I was getting myself into, you know what I mean? Like, you can say all these things and speculate, but you don't know until it happens. Like, I've been through some quite undesirable things, but I figured it out. And I've learned extremely valuable lessons from. It's necessary to go through these things in life. It's necessary to greet every trial and tribulation with an open mind and the knowledge or the thought that you're going to learn something from it and you're going to grow. Like, it's so important. If everybody takes the trash out for you, how are you going to know when garbage day is? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that made any sense, but in my head, it made sense. My advice to anybody listening is, if you're contemplating making a move in your life, I'm not even just saying like a literal move, like you're gonna pick up and go somewhere, but ideally you should go places, you know what I mean? Like don't barricade yourself in the same room or the same city or the same state all of your life. You should get up, get out and see things, experience people. I believe, honestly, because I've been wanting to speak about fear for a couple days now, the concept of fear and how it doesn't translate to me, especially now. I was never the person to be fearful really before. And I know that's driven the people who love me extremely crazy, because they're like, you do stuff and you just don't think about it. You just do it. And I'm like, that's the only way I know how to do it. I feel like me just doing things, yeah, it gets me into a pickle because I'm meant to figure out how to fix it. That knowledge is so powerful. Yes, Papa?
What took you so long?
I'm walking. You're riding your bike.
I want you to run.
I'm not running because I don't have my headphones. I'm recording a video.
What kind of video?
A video about fear.
What's fear?
Fear is, for
what?
example, when you started to ride your bike, remember when you didn't know how to ride your bike?
Yeah.
And you were afraid to get on it and go? That's fear.
Okay.
That act of holding you back is fear. But then you got on it and then you took off, right? And you figured out that you actually knew how to do it, right?
Yeah, without training wheels.
Yep. Without training wheels. So yeah, that word has been in the back of my head for like a week now, and I wanted to speak on it. I just didn't know how. And I guess this is the inspiration or the influence that I got. If you're thinking about doing something, you should do it. If you have an inclination that something would be a good move in your life,
Ready?
quitting the job that you're at, but you're afraid that you won't find anything that's going to pay what your job currently pays. If you don't enjoy that job, you should 112% quit and find something else. And I realize that's a lot easier said than done, but Sam's motto is let go and see what happens. Because at that point, your survival instincts kick in and you figure it out. Where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will to change, there's a path to do so. God has spoken to me, and I can say that through prayer, I have slowly begun to seep more into myself, if that makes sense. During times that I am uncertain of who I am, when I pray on something, just like I prayed 25 minutes ago about what I should say and how I should say it and what idea I'm running with, God said to just do it. But what if I jumble up my thoughts like they were just a second ago in the first video and I'm not making any sense? But God said, just do it. You never know where you're going to end up if you don't take the steps to get there. Just like this video. Maybe I seem like I'm all jumbled and my thoughts are all crazy and I don't know what I'm talking about. But maybe, just maybe, to that one or two people who watch this, it'll speak to them. Dude, I don't know. But you never know until you just do it. Yeah, just do it, dude.
Stop, Steve. I am a superhero. I will make my first flight. I'll make my first flight.
How was it? How did your first flight go?
Oh, it was great.